Alright, so trying YouTube today. Hopefully this works well. I'm here, not actually in the store, but in my basement. So I'm going to talk about a couple of my favorite games. We have chat on. First one up is actually not one of my favorite games. I'm just really looking forward to playing this one. So if and there is a lot of expectation with it. If you have played this already, I'd love to hear from you. If you have thoughts about this, I'd love to hear from you. But this is the game Imperial Struggle. I know that there have been some issues with it, but I got mine straight from GMT. This board is massive. Okay, yeah, here we go. Let's see here. Alright, so nice big board. I love how it looks. I can't wait to share this with friends. Why am I so excited about this, and why is this related to favorite games? Well, one of my all-time favorite games, top 3, top 4, right? It goes back and forth because there's always lots of good games. But this game is something I've been looking forward to for a couple years since I first heard about it. And why is it related to favorite games? Top 3, top 4 favorite game is Twilight Struggle. Twilight Struggle is, of course, about the conflict between the United States and the USSR, and it is a card-driven game. This game has both a card-driven aspect to it, but also has some things that are going on during peacetime and wartime, and it has the cards, and it has much more going on with the map. So I can't wait to get this to the table. I've been looking at it. I love the fact that it came with an organizer for all the tokens and everything else. GMT has continued to increase the quality of their games overall, although there are some production issues with this particular game. So I am still overall very pleased, very happy with getting this. I can't wait to get it to the table. I just don't have my normal game group going on right now, but I'm sure it will get played and get played a lot. On that note, let's go ahead and take a look at Twilight Struggle and why I love it. And again, the chat's on. If you want to comment in the chat, I'd love to hear from you, what your favorite games are, what you like, what you don't like. So my well-used, my well-loved copy of Twilight Struggle. I tried to teach this a couple years ago, and that's when I realized that although I knew this game well, I was not a good teacher of games sometimes, especially longer games, and I realized I needed to find a better way to teach long games. But this game helped me to work through that process because I love it so much, and I wanted to learn better how to play it. Most of the time, though, I will admit when I play this game, I play the app anymore, and that's also true for Terraforming Mars, which is another one of my favorite games that I didn't bring in here today. Thanks to my sister Anna for buying me my copy a couple years ago. But I love Twilight Struggle, and I love Terraforming Mars, and I will play the app. They're really fast that way. You know, you don't have all the setup and everything else. So what will feel similar between the map that I was just holding up a second ago and this one between Imperial Struggle and Twilight Struggle is maps of the world that are set in a period appropriate way. Again, nice giant board. I don't know. Some people don't like the artwork of Twilight Struggle. I love it. I love history. Like, I loved sitting in history class and getting to look at those maps of the world and see what was going on geopolitically. So this map and this board, it just appeals to me, and it always has. I love the history that was going on during this time. I think it is just a fantastic game with very few flaws. I'm hoping that the flaws in Imperial Struggle get ironed out. I'm sure they will over time. It just doesn't have the same history, although it has the same pedigree in terms of designers that the Twilight Struggle does. So you have your influence that you're placing out in the world as you go back and forth between the USSR and the United States, the different event cards that can be played either for their points or for the particular event, and then how you have to balance that out with whose deck it goes into, or whether it's going out of the game and so forth. There's just so many things I love about this game. If you were to ask me to play it, I'm probably going to try to find a way to play it if I can, if I'm just not like completely tired, which sometimes happens at the end of the day. But I love Twilight Struggle. Always a top 5 game for me. The next one that I'm going to take a look at is over here. I was thinking about this designer the other day. So I'm going to say his name wrong, but Corey Konieczka. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but Corey, and his last name is spelled Konieczka. Never met him. I would probably enjoy meeting him. I don't know, maybe not. Just because I like your game doesn't mean that we're going to get along. Who knows? But I get along with most people. But Star Wars Rebellion, I already loved this game because of the theme and the setting and the fact that you were 2 or 4 players, either if you're splitting up the space combat and the planetary combat, which doesn't make a big difference. You're going to work together. Anyways, I already loved it, and then they came out with the expansion to it. It's interesting that it is a Rogue One expansion. I mean, I guess it fits thematically, but it does add to the game, makes it even better. But the box, the box on this one is also huge. So I guess I just like nice, big, chunky boxes with massive maps, which is funny because in my last few videos I've for the channel I've been complaining about table space. I think the thing that is important to me about table space is that if a game is a filler, like I just reviewed Sorcerer City and put that video together, which will be up later tonight, but if Sorcerer City is a filler, which it essentially is, there's nothing difficult about the game. It doesn't seem like it should take up the massive amount of space that it does. But with a game like Rebellion that I only usually get to play a couple times a year, I don't mind that it takes up the whole table and takes up so much space, because it feels like it should be this massive epic game that is just taking up a lot of room and taking up a lot of table space, which maybe is not fair to those fillers, because table space really has nothing to do with gameplay necessarily. I just personally like it when a filler is easy to get to, easy to grab, easy to go through, because it doesn't seem like it needs to have that large table presence in the same way. Maybe a tactile game, maybe a game where you're doing a little bit more with your hands during the game might warrant more table space. I don't know. But those are 3 of my favorite games that I grabbed today to show you, talk about why I like them. It's funny, but it seems like, well, and I guess the first one, Imperial Struggle, isn't a favorite yet, but I anticipate it becoming a favorite as I've looked at the board and the cards and everything that's going on. I can't wait to play it. What is funny is that the theme really does matter a lot to me in Star Wars Rebellion and in Twilight Struggle. I don't know that I necessarily just gravitate towards two-player games. A while back, Brian Lenz asked me about this, but I do gravitate towards war games, and war games tend to be two-player games, which is interesting. But Star Wars Rebellion and Twilight Struggle, I just don't know that I would care as much, and that I would have as big of an attachment to those games without the themes of the Cold War and then the Star Wars war and that universe attached to them. They just work really well, and the themes make the mechanics feel right in context. And there's my dog in the background, so I might have to deal with that. But those are some of my favorites. I'd love to hear what your favorites are, what you're playing, what you're enjoying right now. I've been playing more fillers than I usually do. I don't mind fillers. I don't dislike fillers, but I've been playing a lot of those just because I'm not able to get to the table in the same way that I used to. So we've been playing things like, I'm going to have to get the dog and bring him down here. I guess I'll show you real quick. So here's the noisy dog crying at me from upstairs. He's 14 years old. He's a pug. But getting back to it, we've been playing a lot of The Crew and Mandala and Six Nimit and Azul and things like that. Things that are easy to get at the table, that don't take a lot of thinking in terms of setup and Sagrada. And going back to my earlier point, all of those take up a very small amount of table space. And I think that's part of the reason that we enjoy them is for what they are, their mechanics are perfect or near perfect, maybe not perfect, but for what they are, they work really well, and they do what they do really well. And I would even play a game like Carcassonne or Point Salad, or I got to play Lords of Waterdeep again the other day for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. And although I lost terribly, I really enjoyed it because the theme and the mechanics matched up well with what it was doing. So when games do that well, I enjoy that. I think that's true for most people. That when you have that mashup, and there's no perfect game completely that way, because I don't think that there is a way at this point to completely integrate a mechanic in the theme. I think games are still working on that. Dan and Shay were talking about this the other day when we were talking, and that games are still working on what it means to be a fully immersive experience. But there are games that do a matching of their mechanic and their theme better than other games, for sure. So, without going on that whole trail, there's Ollie. Here's something else I've been enjoying a lot of. I'd again love to see and hear what you've been enjoying, but I'm continuing to paint. So here's something I've been painting. I keep grabbing Nolzers, and I'm painting those. I need to finish basing these guys, or gals, or whoever there, and I need to finish the eyeball on this one. But I have a beholder, and he's got some translucent materials on him. Still work on that one. That one's fun. Gonna play some D&D later with my boys, and then also have this Minotaur. He's got a lot more detail work to go, but he's getting close. I would love to show some people the game Crisis Protocol, because I think it's a solid game. Where's that at? Let me see if I can grab something from that real quick to show you. But again, essentially a two-player war game where one person takes a turn, does some things, and the other person reacts to those things, and then you see if you've completed your goals on Crisis Protocol. So I'll actually have that at the shop soon. There's new stuff coming out for that. The Thanos model is really cool. So let me pull up a couple of the models from Crisis Protocol if you haven't seen that. Similar to things like, Warhammer or Star Wars Legion or things like that, you have models that you're building and painting, and I think that provides some good stuff. So here's a couple of the models from that. These are the shops ones. Ultron, again, not done basing. So we have those, pretty cool. Red Skull, there he is. Okay, and it's got cars. The heroes and the villains can throw things and throw people into things, and I know some of you have seen that before. I was actually gonna start some. There's Spider-Man. I got to watch that movie the other day. Anybody else enjoy that movie? I really liked. I'm the worst with actors' names, but the actor who played Mysterio, I really enjoyed him as a Spider-Man villain. I know I'm late getting to the party with that one, but I don't usually go to the movies. I rent them at home or wait till they're streaming at home. But Crisis Protocol, I think it's a solid little game. I'd love to teach you if you want to stop by the store, and I will show you how to play that game. We can check that out. Those are some of my favorites. I think that we're going to probably see more people getting into things that they can play over Zoom with their older relatives or so forth, or that they can play quickly and aren't necessarily taking up tons and tons of table space unless they play 1 or 2 players. I think that we're only going to see the 1 and 2 player genre. I don't know if that's a genre, but just that category continue to grow. So I think that some people are going to find some new favorites there in the next year. Let me know what your favorite 1 or 2 player game is. Right now, my favorite 1 player game right now is I've been working through the Lord of the Rings LCG game. There's a lot of content there, and it's fairly difficult. And I know a lot of people know this, but I've been playing through Welcome to and Cartographers a lot. I enjoy those ones. Do you have a favorite roll and write or a favorite flip and write? I guess technically both of those two that I just mentioned are flip and writes. But maybe there's something that I haven't heard of. So let me know. I think, I don't know, I've probably named 20 games so far as we've talked. But let me know what your favorites are, what you're enjoying, what you're liking to play. I'd like to check it out. So, hope you're doing well. We will catch you next Sunday with another live stream. We might be talking about what works and what doesn't work in mechanics. I'm probably going to talk with a couple of people and see what they want to see as far as content. And we will catch you later. See you later.